What's up, guys? Welcome to the Sports 2.0 show. I'm your host, Tanner Kern. I'm joined by my father, the best IndyCar analyst on YouTube, Jim Kern. How you doing?
I'm doing good today.
You doing good? You ready to go? You ready to go to Nashville?
Absolutely. You?
Yeah, I'm excited for it. So we're going to be breaking down the Music City Grand Prix. This is going to be the biggest race of the season besides the Indy 500 moving forward. We are very excited for it. It's not going to be a race. It's going to be a festival. Multiple races occurring all weekend long across different racing league. Would you call it racing leagues?
Just racing
organization
series.
Yeah, series. So there's trucks there, there's sports cars. So it should be a great weekend. A lot of good music acts. So we're what?
Indy Lights.
Indy Lights isn't even there this weekend.
No,
it's trucks and it's like sports cars, I think.
Okay.
So
we're going for the main event.
We're going for the main event. We don't care about the trucks and the sports cars, but it should be a lot of fun. So we're going to be breaking down the Music City Grand Prix. We're going to be previewing it today. Jim, father, what's your thoughts right off the top? Who do you like this weekend?
Well, we like the hometown hero, Joseph Newgarden. You know, it's going to be his home venue. He's run strong over the last 4 races, and he's got a lot to prove. So I think there's a lot of pressure on him though to do well. But I think that's going to be one of the stories that they're surely gonna highlight going into the race.
That's the story they've been talking about all year. I mean, we look at Newgarden, every year we go into the season, racers have 2 goals. It's win the series, win the Indy 500. But for him, he's had 3. He wants to win this race. He said he's wanted to win this race the whole season. He was talking about this before the Indy 500. So it's definitely a big weekend for him. Let's start by breaking down the course a little bit. So it's going to take you through downtown Nashville. It's a temporary street circuit. You go through the Tennessee Titans parking lot. It's going to be a crazy, crazy race. And we saw Grosjean posted a video of the simulator. It looks a little bumpy out there. What are your thoughts after watching that video?
Well, they've said it's very bumpy, especially going over going over the bridges both times. So, but what's going to happen is those are the areas that there's going to have a lot of passing in. So they're going to be bumpy passing. So it's going to be pretty exciting to see what happens over those bridges, because those are 2 of the high speed parts of the course. So
now
2.17 mile, 11 turn, and it's a tight course. So it's going to be a lot of action for sure.
Now, when I saw the video, we're going to watch that in a minute here, but there's a lot of fast zones into hard braking zones. There's 90-degree turns on that. Now, when you factor in the heat, it's going to be 93 degrees in Nashville this weekend. When we went to the Indy 500, it was cool. It was a great day. Not a lot of accidents. But when you think about that heat combined with the street circuit, I mean, it's going to get hot out there. How much is that going to play into crashes this weekend?
Well, stamina is going to be key. So the guys that are in better shape, I mean, obviously they're all in pretty good shape physically, but really it comes down to mental acuity, staying out of trouble, making the least amount of mistakes. Don't do anything stupid. Don't try to win the race on the first lap. So there's a bunch of factors in there, but I think you'll see you'll see a good weekend of racing, and there's obviously going to be some challenges, and I'm sure one of the front runners is going to have some challenges, no doubt, coming through that course, because it's a new course for everyone. They've only been running on the simulator, so today is the first time they're actually going to get on the course in a real time environment. So it will be interesting to see who's fast out of the gate.
Now, did you know this is the first time a motorsports race has ever crossed a major body of water?
I didn't know that. I know it's been near a body of water in many cases, Cleveland Grand Prix, Detroit Belle Isle, but that's pretty exciting. It's going across the Cumberland River, by the way.
So. I said a body of water because last time I said ocean, and that slipped out.
Yeah, it is the Cumberland River. But the interesting thing about that is it is 2 of the highest speed parts of the course, going over the bridge both times. It's an out and back, so you're going to see some pretty exciting racing over that body of water.
Yeah, definitely. So let's break down the course. We're going to watch a video courtesy of Grosjean on the simulator. He has the best YouTube channel too, by the way. If you ever haven't seen it, go check it out. So let's break this down here. I was surprised, when we were talking about the bridge, I was listening to an interview with Joseph Newgarden in Barstool, and they were talking about like how the drivers could go into the water. It's very safe on top of the bridge. Now, there's accidents are going to happen, but it's wide. It's a lot wider than I expected when they were talking about it, at least. So let's get into this here. All right, so this is a look at the course. Video courtesy of Romain Grosjean. You're one of your dark horses to win this weekend. So
Yeah,
why don't you commentate us through this?
Well, we're not listening to him?
No, we're not going to listen to him.
Okay, so you got to, as you can see right off the gate, there's a lot of short turns. Here's the high speed part of the course. Bumpy, definitely bumpy on the simulator. So they're trying to simulate everything. There's a possibility that they're going to do some resurfacing. But as you can see, it's a high speed going into a sharp left-hand turn. Quite right, another hard braking zone. Relatively high speed turn now coming back over. Sharp right-hander. And now we're speeding up, going back over the bridge. So like I said, I think you're going to see most of the passing is going to be on the bridge itself, just based on the speed, and those are the two longest parts of the course on the straights. And then you're braking hard into a left-hander, getting close to the stadium. Again, another high-speed area coming back under. And then you got a 90-degree turn back into around the stadium. So it's gonna be exciting. I think you're gonna see some pretty interesting racing, but look for most of the passing to be done on the bridges, which actually is really clever. So
you sound like Jimmy Johnson there commentating the Indy 500.
Yeah, you never know. So we'll see what happens.
Now, what are the bumps from? Like, do you think they're going to resurface because drivers were complaining about the simulator, or they're going to get on today and when they practice and say this is too much, we need this resurface? Because I know Romain Grosjean in that video was talking about them possibly fixing up the bridge.
Well, it's a street course, so you know what it's like driving on street courses with potholes and everything else. I mean, as much as they can try to make it smooth, it's still a road course. It's not a everyday drivers are going to be on that and have been on that. I mean, obviously it's taken a couple weeks to set this thing up, and it's going to take a couple weeks to break it down, but they can only get it so smooth. So even if they do have to resurface some of the areas, it's going to be it's going to be a challenge, as you see with with Belle Isle and Michigan. It's extremely bumpy course. Even Long Beach is relatively bumpy, but it's a temporary circuit, so there's really not a lot they can do with it. They just have to kind of bear with it and make sure they understand where those bumps are going to occur. Now, it's harder on the cars too, so there's a possibility that tears down the cars a little bit more suspension wise and tire wear and everything else. So it's going to be an interesting event. Especially because they've never been on this thing before. So
yeah, I want to talk about that right after I answer this question here. Tanner, where's the baseball video for today? The people want the picks. They don't. The people want the picks. Marky, we'll be on a little later today. We did change up the schedule, but 8-4 yesterday, doing really well. But it's all IndyCar this weekend, all IndyCar. But I will be doing the picks from Nashville. All right. So when you talk about the new course, right, and saying these drivers have never been on it, how much pressure is that for them and their team members? Like just going into planning, because the simulator is one thing, but it doesn't simulate being on the course for years.
Well, there's a lot of adjustments that need to get done, but ideally somebody's going to come off the van with a car that's relatively set up well. But they've got all the computer. They've done a lot of probably pre-set up based on the computer, the findings from the simulator and so forth, and the course itself. I mean, it's extremely technical. But these guys are professionals, so they'll get it down pretty quickly. But ideally, you're going to have a couple drivers that are just always strong on street courses, and that they like that tight racing, and a lot of it comes down to the setup. So it'll be exciting to see who's going to be fast after today. So they only have limited practice time too. So
yeah, I mean, you look at the practice; they have one session today, one session tomorrow before they go into qualifying. And the practice is early tomorrow, and then they have like 2 hours off before qualifying starts. And then they have one more. They have a warm up on Sunday, but it's very limited time considering this is a brand new race. Again, it's an event, so you can't have them practicing all weekend long either. So we look at Romain Grosjean, he will be the hottest free agent in the sport coming up at the end of the year. He's a Formula One guy. You're the Formula One guru here. But from what I have seen with the Netflix series and the races I have watched, there's a lot of street courses. Does this play into his benefit this weekend, being an F1 guy coming here? And he's run really well this year. When you look at what he's done on the street circuits, on the road courses, he's been pretty good. I mean, he's got some top 10s, got some top 5s, so it's been fun to watch.
Well, considering he's on not one of the premier teams, I mean, he's on obviously a good team with Dale Coyne, racing, but he's surprised a lot of people. But he's a very experienced guy. He struggled obviously in Formula One because he was never in great equipment, but limited amount of podiums, and he did crash a lot. But you've seen him take some risk on the courses this year, and most of them have paid off. His strongest street run, well, actually road course run, was Indy, but that's not really a temporary circuit. That's I'll say an official circuit. I think he was in the top 10 in Michigan. I don't think he had a great run down in St. Petersburg, but he's used to these kind of courses. So it'll be good to see where he falls. I'm excited to see how he performs this weekend.
Now, one other driver I want to talk about before we start getting the odds, courtesy of PointsBet Sportsbook, the Sports 2.0 Network will have a bunch of promo codes coming out this weekend on PointsBet for you guys. So make sure you check that out if you're looking to bet this race. But does Helio Castroneves have a chance this weekend? Coming off, he hasn't raced since Indy. He's going to be a full-time driver next year. He's going to do a lot of, what's he going to do, 4 or 5 in the next 6 races?
Actually, I think, yeah, he's
doing all 6, maybe, right?
He's doing 6. I think he's doing the final 6 races of the year, and then obviously going full time next year with Meyer Shank. So he's obviously got a chance. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he's a very experienced driver. He's had a lot of success over the years in many type of venues. Knowing he's coming off of the Indy win, there's going to be a lot of focus on him over the weekend. There's no doubt about it. But do I realistically think he's got a chance to win? I think a top 5 would be great for him, in all things being considered. But he's got a good chance to win the race. But I don't see him winning it. I see him in a 5, 4, 5, 6 spot.
We didn't even talk about him when we went to Indy. We didn't bring him up. We were talking about Colton Herta, and then we were talking about Colton Herta and Renus, right?
Yeah. Well, he's an Indy Meister. I mean, you didn't expect it out of him on a say a back marker team. That was their first win at Indy. He's got a full-time ride next year. He's a great driver. I mean, he's in the Mount Rushmore of drivers. So. There's no doubt about it, and there will be a lot of focus on him over the weekend. So he can handle the pressure, though. So.
All right, so let's get into the odds, courtesy of PointsBet Sportsbook. Remember, if you are looking to bet this race, do it on PointsBet Sportsbook. PointsBet, the official sportsbook of NBC Sports, so they cover IndyCar heavily on there. So make sure you do that. You're going to get a better look at the odds on there than DraftKings or FanDuel or any other sportsbook on the market with PointsBet. All right, so let's get into it here. Joseph Newgarden to win. I mean, I think we will both be picking that this weekend as we're going to get into our picks. But obviously, he is the favorite, so we don't really need to talk about him much. But you look at Scott Dixon, a guy that just finishes races. He's going to be in the top 5. That's just what he does every weekend. Do you think he has a chance?
Absolutely, absolutely has a chance to win the race. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he's run strong all year. He's only won 1 race, but he's run up there. I mean, he's in 3rd place in the standings. Ironically, the last 3 races that were in Nashville, on the Nashville Speedway, 2006 through 2008, he actually won. So he likes the South. So we'll see what happens when it comes to race day. But he's got to be one of your favorites.
Yeah. Now, the most interesting thing I saw with these odds, when you look at the next 3 at plus 850, Will Power, Pato O'Ward, and Colton Herta. Why is Will Power up there? I mean, he's 11th in the standings, has not run well this year, barely made the cut at Indy. What's your reasoning for that behind PointsBet's logic?
Well, I think to some extent it's a little bit of the team itself. Penske, from a team perspective, Will Power's a great driver. They're one of the top teams. They've got the most, one of the most technically accomplished engineers out there. So I think there's a little bit of that factor in there, and probably over the course of his career, probably how well he's done on street courses it plays into it. And I think the younger guys, O'Ward, Herta, and BK and Palou, the next four, they are the young guns. So I think you'll see after these odds are going to change, obviously after practice and qualifying. So. But it'll be interesting to see how it plays out after tomorrow.
Now, it is smart to lock in a bet before qualifying. It doesn't have to be large, but you look at Palou. I mean, he's leading the point standing, and he's at plus 1,300 right now. I mean, that is a steal in my opinion. At plus 1,300, $100 bet's going to win you $1,300. So, I mean, I'm leaning towards that. What do you think?
I like Alex Palou. Liked him all year. He's a two-time winner this season. So. Look for him to be strong. He's on a strong team with Chip Ganassi Racing, and you'll see him up front. There's no doubt about it. So
as we move through down to the back, I mean, if stop me if you see a name that's going to be a contender in this list. I mean, I
think Marcus Ericsson.
He's had a really good year.
He's had a great year. He's fifth in the points. I think you'll also, he's a winner in Detroit on a temporary road course. So that may not be a bad bet based on how well he's actually done. I mean, his stock has gone up a lot this year. I think he's done a lot better than people expected him to do. He's kind of coming into his own, and he's on a great team. So I think that's a good bet for sure.
Yeah, so we'll keep going through here. Elio at plus 9,000. I don't know. That's pretty good.
You can make a lot of money if you put $100 on Elio for sure.
Now I want to look at the big jump here. We go from Connor Daly at plus 12,500 and Edward Jones at plus 15,000. Now, one thing about Connor Daly, Indy fans love Connor Daly. That's one thing. We saw that at the Indy 500 because he's from Indy, right?
That is correct.
But they love Connor Daly. But anyway, so we jump here, 15,000 to plus 50,000. $100 on Jimmy Johnson is going to win you what, 5,000? 50,000. I mean, yeah, 50,000. So I mean, that could be.
Jimmy Johnson's not going to win this race, so don't waste your money. So, I mean, he's had a pretty good year. He's improved every race, but it would be a miracle for Jimmy Johnson to win this race. So, I'd put your money on somebody else over this weekend. So,
all right. So
that's a fan favorite.
He's a fan favorite. I mean, he's going to be on the ovals next year, right? His wife letting him get back on the horse.
That's what we hear. He's going to be doing a test down in Miami in August, so we'll see.
I think he's going to win the 106 running.
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't believe it?
I don't believe it. So.
All right, so we'll get into our final picks for the weekend, or our top three win place show. Are these in order? These are in order, pretty much. I think. Are yours in order? All right.
Mine are in order. Yeah.
All right. You got Newgard and Palou, Grosjean. I think you just threw Grosjean in there because you're acting like a big Romain Grosjean fan. I don't think he's going to do anything this weekend. But
well, I've been a big Romain Grosjean fan all season long. So I mean, he's the hottest driver on the silly season market. Look for announcement probably in the next couple weeks where he's going to end up next year. But I think you'll see him run strong. There's a lot of focus on him. He's having a great time. It's Welcome to America tour. So he's getting a lot of attention overseas. I mean, there's been a number of driver tests over the last couple of weeks from European drivers wanting to come over here. Like I said, IndyCar is a destination, as is Formula One. So I think you owe a lot for that based on his performance this year. But I still like Newgarden and Palou. Newgarden's got a really good shot to win this race, knowing how strong he's run all season long. Anyway, he's had some bad breaks. It's his hometown. A lot of pressure on him. He can handle the pressure. He's a two-time champion. And he's not too far back in the standings right now. So, look for him to have a strong showing for the weekend. He's in it he wants to win this race, but overall he wants to win the series. So,
Well,
And then
the winning.
Palou, we talked about Palou.
Yeah, I mean, winning the series starts with this race for him. I mean, I think he's 40 something points back. He's got to win races, like because the guys in front of him are going to place. They're going to be podium guys. He's got to win races. I like Newgarden, O'Ward, and Herta. I throw Colton Herta in there. I think this is going to be a special weekend for him. I say every weekend is going to be a special weekend for Colton Herta, but eventually it's going to break. He's the only Andretti driver who has run well this year. O'Ward, he's getting ready to go to Formula One in the coming years. We know that's going to happen with Arrow McLaren, but he's been driving pretty well, and he's been driving very well. And he's kind of got a chip on his shoulder. I like how he answers post-race interviews. I like how he drives. He's aggressive. What do you think about him this weekend?
No, I like him. I like him. He's a strong guy. I mean, he's won some races. He's got a lot to prove. He's in a good team. You could definitely see him. I think a lot of it comes down to, the one thing I do want to mention, it's the most cars entered for a race since 2013, besides Indianapolis. So that's something. So there's 27 cars entered, assuming all 27 start. There's a lot of cars out there for a tight circuit. So, look for a lot of passing. If the guys that are typically good are in the back of the pack, look for them to be very aggressive. So I still think there's a good shot you're going to see a surprise. Somebody we haven't really talked about is going to emerge in that top group, but I don't know who that is right now.
Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, it's not going to be Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson. He can barely get around the course without spinning out. So anyway,
all right. Well,
the experiment. I'm not sure if the experiment's going to work or not. I mean, there's a lot of focus on him. He can bring a lot of money. Carvana's, behind him. He's got a lot of. I think it was really a publicity stunt. So
you're going to get canceled by now.
It's actually paid off. It's actually paid off because a lot of people. But some of the hardcore racing fans are like, Jamie, go back to NASCAR. Okay, this experiment hasn't worked too well. So, anyway.
All right. Well, I'm going to bet Colton Herta, or not Colton Herta. I'm going to bet Colton Herta, a little bet on Colton Herta, but Newgarden to win 100%. This is his race. It's like not betting on Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. You bet on Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. It's home for him. He's going to get the job done there. So that was our Music City Grand Prix preview. We will be down there this weekend. Follow at Tanner Kern, at Sports 2.0 Network. Everything you need to know. We're going to be covering it down there. Articles, videos, betting content, you name it, it will be up there. Jim, thanks for joining me. We'll talk on the plane. We'll get it going to get our best bets ready to go and head down to Nashville.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
See you guys later.
Me too. See you guys later. All right. That was the Sports 2.0 show, Music City Grand Prix. The baseball picks will be up a little later. Don't worry. We'll get them up. But that was our Music City Grand Prix preview. Have a good day, and we'll talk to you soon.